to look around wherever you are.
And I have to say, Your Holiness, that I was touched by the way in which your predecessor as spiritual leader instructed your community, the Ahmadiyya community, to befriend and look after those suffering as a result of the Bosnian conflict, and I was very impressed by that.
Everywhere that mankind suffers, your members have been active in bringing help and saving lives and limbs.
The community was created under divine guidance, with the objective to rejuvenate Islamic moral and spiritual values. It encourages interfaith dialogue, diligently defending Islam and attempting to correct misunderstandings about the religion in the West.
I very much welcome this opportunity of paying tribute to the wonderful work which has been done by the Ahmadiyya community towards the objective which we're seeking to promote this evening of achieving peace through understanding and tolerance. The Ahmadiyya community are doing a tremendous job in building bridges between the different communities in our country, between different ethnic, linguistic and religious groups up and down the country. And I also know that they have a wonderful record in other parts of the world.
I'd like to start by saying just how important the work of the Ahmadiyya community is. It deepens others' understanding of your own faith, and it gives a voice to those who are marginalised in their own societies.
Now, what has so impressed me as I have come to understand more about the Ahmadiyya faith is your remarkable commitment to interfaith dialogue, your commitment to the principle of non-compulsion in religion, and your commitment to peace and tolerance. You, the Ahmadis, stand as a beacon in your strong belief that we must find the answers to these debates through open, thoughtful and gentle discussion. And you are also a beacon because you show us that we must find the answers to these debates through practical action.
The Ahmadiyya Mission is one religious organization in Ghana which has demonstrated ample tolerance in terms of its preparedness to cooperate with all other religious bodies, Muslim and Christian alike.
How good you have been to our community, the community that you found here. Today you reflect so many professions, so many different walks of life. You uphold all the virtues and the vigorous ethics that your faith has given you from birth.
At this pivotal point in international relations, many questions and concerns have been raised concerning the doctrines of Islam. Most have incorrectly interpreted Islam as endorsing violence and terrorism. The Ahmadiyya community has always demonstrated the spirit of tolerance, goodwill, and true brotherhood. It advocates peace, love, and understanding among followers of different faiths. It firmly believes in and acts upon Quranic teachings. It strongly rejects violence and terrorism in any form and for any reason. The movement offers a clear presentation of Islamic wisdom, philosophy, morals, and spirituality as derived from the Holy Quran and the practice of the Holy Prophet of Islam, Muhammad. Peace and blessings of Allah be on him.
For me, as a student of Islam for now almost 30 years, I am constantly amazed by the depth of service that is certainly represented by this community and tradition, by the depth of tolerance and the constant searching for what it means to be human. To be of human means to be of service. And I think this is so dramatically represented by the message of this community.
But there is something in the faith of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community that is striking, impressing. You teach to your followers that loyalty to your homeland is part of your faith. Ahmadi Muslims are proud of the fact that wherever they reside in the world, they become loyal citizens of that country.
What would the world have been without Ahmadiyya movement? As far as Islam is concerned, it would have left a big gap a vacuum incalculable for us to even suggest as to the type of impact it would mean on society.
Your strength and your commitment to your faith strengthens the faith of all of us in Canada, in all of our religions, and in all of our spiritual practices.
Your interpretation of jihad has always been in stark contrast to the extremist imams that we all deplore.
We especially applaud His Holiness for denouncing those who pervert faith by claiming it as a justification for violence. However we define God, it is wrong to kill in His name.
I have enormous admiration and respect for the work that the Ahmadiyya Muslim community are doing throughout the world to promote peace and understanding, not just by words, but by an example of a way of life, an example of impeccable conduct, and an example of undeniable faith in God Almighty, and an example of peace and tolerance.
I only wish that more people could be here today to see this face of Islam, to understand this community's expression of that great religion, and I hope that for the future you will be recognized as the face of Islam, of love, of tolerance, of brotherhood and friendship. The work that you do in the community contributes every day towards that. Let us hope that everyone else's eyes are opened to the truth, to the justice and to the compassion that you bring to our society.
एक ख्वाब है और मुस्तकिल है, एक ख्वाब है और मुस्तकिल है, वो शख्स नहीं, वो मेरा दिल है।
His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, the present head of the community, continues in his effort to unite people from all faiths and cultures by promoting interfaith dialogue and religious freedom. He has travelled extensively to spread the message of peace and to remind everyone to respect the rights of other human beings. During these tours, His Holiness has met world leaders from the Far East to Europe, from North America to Africa, discussing the economic, social and political problems facing the world today and how to create peace and justice in the world. He has also met religious and community leaders in order to share common values and core ideals universal to all religions and cultures, with a view to improving the moral state of mankind and creating an atmosphere of love and affection. From young to old, he compassionately listens to the ordinary man, regardless of race, colour or religion. He has personally initiated social projects and schemes to alleviate poverty and human suffering. His concern is not just about the well-being and moral state of the members of the Ahmadiyya community, but of the great human suffering of mankind at large. The Ahmadiyya community knows only that Islam, which is the Islam of love and affection, offers a real message of peace and security.
It is a pleasure to be associated with an organisation, with a religion that says love for all, hate for none. And I think if we reflect on that, really that is what we all ought to be doing in the world today.
The Ahmadiyya movement in Islam has been a leader in promoting peace and partnership between communities. Established in 190 countries, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community continues to preach a message of peace and tolerance, even in parts of the world that persecute them for their beliefs.
But this should, ladies and gentlemen, come as a surprise to no one, to anyone who knows this community. Ahmadis are renowned throughout the world for their devotion to peace, universal brotherhood, and the will of God, the core principles of true Islam.
All of us, whatever our political persuasions, hugely admire the work of the Ahmadiyya community here in the United Kingdom as we do across the world.
ਅੱਜ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਜਿਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ 2001 'ਚ ਹੋਇਆ, ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਲੰਦਨ 'ਚ ਹੋਇਆ, ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹਨ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੂਰ ਕਰਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਥੋੜੀ ਜੀ ਆਸ਼ਾ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਰਗੇ ਲੋਕ ਅੱਗੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਦਿਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਦੂਰੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਘਟਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ.
And you are also a beacon because you teach all of us that we will find the solutions to the problems of today through a rediscovery of the spiritual side of our lives as well as the material side.
एक ख्वाब है.
Let us make a resolution. Let us make this resolution to promote the message of peace and brotherhood, which is your message to mankind, that people of different religions should not quarrel and fight with each other, but should accept and tolerate and live together in that spirit of brotherhood and peace, which is the essence of your religion.
शख्स नहीं वो मेरा दिल है, वो शख्स नहीं वो मेरा दिल है, वो मेरा दिल है.
Wir leben in einem Land, das ein Rechtsstaat ist und in dem Religionsfreiheit gilt.
We live in a country that is a constitutional state where we have freedom of religion and individuals cannot decide to whom this freedom applies and to whom it doesn't.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
In Islamic traditions, the mosque plays a very crucial role. Not only in the daily worship performed by Muslims, but also in the daily practice of governance, civic and humanitarian responsibilities, and spiritual and scholarly research. But over the course of time, and particularly in the current social climate, many people are beginning to doubt the purpose that a mosque serves in their local city or neighborhood. The sight of a minaret appearing on the skyline may raise concern and fear of safety, yet this is not its intention, and therefore the Ahmadiyya Muslim community continues to build mosques around the world based on the true teachings of Islam and its God-given purpose.
This mosque of the Ahmadiyya community is a symbol of peace. I also urge you that irrespective of your faith, creed, race or nationality, you should create in your own areas an atmosphere of peace and help the suffering mankind.
If you think and ponder on the Quranic verses, you will see such verses in the Holy Quran or verses to this effect, that the purpose of mosque in Islam, and one of the purposes of mosque in Islam is to ensure religious freedom. Anybody and everybody should be allowed to come into a mosque peacefully, and if peacefully somebody wants to pray there, then nobody should create any obstacle or nobody should deny him this right.
On the importance of mosques, the promised Messiah, on whom be peace, said, If you want Islam to progress, build a mosque. Wherever our Jamaat is established, a mosque should be built. Our Jamaat's progress is founded on the construction of mosques. If there are only a few Muslims in a village or a city, build a mosque with good intentions, and God will bring more Muslims to that place. Malfuzat, Volume 2, page 42. Throughout the subsequent years, the community has continued to build mosques around the globe, and with each stride the community takes, a new and bigger mosque emerges from the horizon. Today, London is home to the largest mosque in Western Europe. The Bait al-Fatah Mosque, with its shining minaret, opened its doors in 2003 and left the world gazing in its glory. Europe's skyline continued to be drawn with the inauguration of two magnificent and awe-inspiring mosques by the fifth spiritual head of the community, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad. On the 10th of October 2008, His Holiness inaugurated the Mubarak Mosque in Saint-Prix, France, which is the first mosque of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in France.
Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala ने जमात अहमदिया फ्रांस को भी पहली मस्जिद बनाने की तौफीक अता फरमाई.
It was interesting to see that the individuals who had initially raised objections to the construction of this mosque were present at the inauguration and observed its magnificence in awe and amazement.
अगर इरादा पुख्ता हो और लगन सच्ची हो तो वक्त आने पर खुदा ताला अपने फजल से तमाम रोकें दूर फरमा देता है.
The mayor of Saint-Prix had earlier voiced his concerns while visiting the site when it was only a hall for performing prayers.
तो अल्लाह ताला ने इनका दिल नरम किया और वही शख्स जो हमें नमाज़ों से रोकते हुए हमारे उस आर्जी हॉल को गिराने के दरपे था, हमें बाकायदा मस्जिद की तामीर के लिए ना सिर्फ इजाज़त देने के लिए तैयार हो गया, बल्कि रास्ते की रोकों को दूर करने के लिए खुद हमारा मददगार बन गया और अभी तक ये मदद कर रहे हैं हमारी. अल्लाह ताला इनको जज़ा दे और उनका सीना मज़ीद खोले कि वो अहमदियत के पैगाम को, इस्लाम के पैगाम को भी समझने वाले बने.
The same mayor was also present at the inauguration of the mosque, offering his congratulations and support to the Ahmadiyya community. He has continued to help the Ahmadiyya community to remove the hurdles it has faced and has promised to assist in the future when needed. Saint-Prix, a small, unknown town in France, attracted the world's media to its neighborhood to cover the inauguration of this historical mosque.
Et dans le Val d'Oise, la première mosquée Ahmadi, lieu de culte pour la communauté musulmane de la région du Pendjab en Inde, a été inaugurée aujourd'hui. C'est la seule en France. Les voisins de toute obédience sont d'ailleurs invités ce soir à un repas. Tania Watine avec Stéphane Lisnige.
With all the dignitaries, national and international TV channels, radio stations and newspapers present on the momentous day, the inauguration of the Mubarak Mosque was headline news for all the right reasons. After the successful inauguration of the Mubarak Mosque, the world's eyes turned towards Berlin, where the inauguration of the Khadija Mosque was next on the agenda for Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V. The media assembled in the capital of Germany, anticipating the moment when the doors to the mosque would finally open. There had been months of protests and rallies before the opening. This, therefore, was a major event. By the grace of God, the opening of the Khadija Mosque on the 17th of October 2008 marked the fulfillment of a desire of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, stretching back to the early 1920s, when it was first proposed that an Ahmadiyya mosque be built in the city of Berlin.
It was in these days when the German Jamaat was trying to build a mosque in Berlin, when the economic situation became worse day by day. There was not only a recession, it was really, fall down of the whole economy.
At that time, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II called on the ladies of the community to contribute for the building of a mosque. The fervour, passion and devotion with which the ladies of the community responded to this call was exceptional and unique. Donating cash and jewellery, the ladies amassed 8,000 rupees in cash in just the first week. The total amount collected was approximately 72,000 rupees. The advent of the First World War and the economic situation at the time meant that the construction costs grew beyond budget. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih II, may Allah be pleased with him, decided to temporarily suspend the construction operations in Berlin and ordered that the funds be transferred to London. Allah never closes the door before opening another, and it was by His grace that the transferred funds helped construct the Fazl Mosque in London in 1924. The historical significance that the Fazl Mosque has attained today is for all to see.
और मैं समझता हूँ कि उस वक्त की अहमदी ख्वातीन की कुर्बानी इतनी सच्ची थी और इसकी कबूलियत के लिए दुआएं इस दर्द के साथ उन्होंने की होंगी कि एक मस्जिद तो उन्होंने अपनी ज़िंदगी में बना ली और दूसरी मस्जिद की तामीर में हो सकता है आज उनकी नस्लें शामिल हुई हों.
The fervour and zeal that the ladies demonstrated back in 1924 can still be seen today. It is an amazing coincidence that this time, when a mosque was to be built in Berlin, the world is again faced with an economic crisis. However, Allah has willed that this blessing will be bestowed on the community of the promised Messiah, on whom be peace, and the construction of the mosque was completed before the onset of the current economic crisis. However, the building of the Khadija Mosque was not without its own issues. Since plans to build a new mosque were formalized, a number of groups held protests and voiced their opinions, by and large unfairly and wrongly, accusing the community of denying equal rights to women and opposing a lack of religious freedom. But little did they know that God foresaw everything, and it had been willed and decided that a mosque would be built in Berlin. The architectural design of the Khadija Mosque was developed by a young woman from the Ahmadiyya community in Germany. She also managed the construction process of the Khadija Mosque amongst men, a strong indication of the equality of women within the community. The mosque is built on a plot of land just over 1 acre. Permission was given for a 13-metre-high minaret. The mosque has 2 halls, a flat, a guest house, a library and a conference room, providing the local community with an ideal centre for both spiritual and scholarly education. At the inauguration, His Holiness in his address reassured the German people of the loyalty of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community and explained the true purposes for erecting the Khadija Mosque.
This mosque we have